Rain doesn't fall in Rome. It attacks. That night, it hammered the warehouse roof like executioner's drums. My father's fingers dug into my arm, nails biting through soaked fabric. He dragged me forward, and I stumbled in heels I'd worn to dinner hours ago, back when I thought tonight would end differently. Giovanni. A voice cut through the storm. Deep, controlled, the kind that doesn't need volume to command. My father froze. His grip loosened, then tightened again, desperate. Marchetti. I brought her, just like you asked. Like I asked, not demanded, not ordered. The phrasing mattered here, in this world of blood debts and broken promises. I couldn't see him yet, just shadows and the silhouettes of men positioned around the space like chess pieces. The hanging bulb swung overhead, creaking, casting light that carved the darkness into fragments. Water dripped from my hair down my spine. My dress clung to every curve, and I felt exposed in ways that had nothing to do with wet silk. Let her go. 2 words. My father's hand released immediately. I stayed rooted, legs shaking beneath me. Not from cold. From the realization that I'd been traded like currency, and the man who now owned my debt hadn't even looked at me yet. Then he stepped into the light. Lazzaro Marchetti. I'd heard the name whispered in our house when my father thought I wasn't listening. Heard it spat by enemies, revered by allies. The king of Rome's underworld. Untouchable. Merciless. He was younger than I expected. Mid-30s maybe. Tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a black suit that fit like a second skin despite the weather. His dark hair was pushed back, still dry beneath the roof's shelter. But it was his eyes that gutted me, black as Rome's catacombs, sharp enough to dissect every secret I'd ever kept. He looked at me the way predators study prey. Slow, thorough, inevitable. Ginevra Moretti. My name in his mouth sounded like ownership, like he'd been saying it long before tonight. I forced my chin up. How do you know my name? A ghost of a smile. I know everything about you. The words should have terrified me. They did, but something else stirred beneath the fear, something hot and wrong and electric. His gaze traveled down my body, not leering, but cataloging, assessing. When his eyes met mine again, I saw hunger there, raw, unapologetic. My father cleared his throat. The debt is paid. Lazzaro's attention didn't leave me. Leave. But we agreed. I said leave, Giovanni. Still calm, still controlled. But the temperature dropped 10 degrees. My father backed toward the door. He didn't look at me. Didn't say goodbye. 23 years of being his daughter, and he sold me for the price of his mistakes without a backward glance. The door slammed. Rain filled the silence. I stood there, soaked and shivering, surrounded by armed men who watched their boss like faithful dogs awaiting commands. Lazzaro moved closer. Each step echoed. He stopped just out of reach, close enough that I could smell him. Expensive cologne mixed with something darker. Gunpowder, maybe, or blood. You're wondering why you, he said, not a question. I swallowed. Yes. Because you're mine. You've always been mine. You just didn't know it yet. I don't belong to anyone. His smile widened. Dangerous. Beautiful. You will. He reached out and I flinched. His hand froze midair, then continued slowly, deliberately, giving me time to retreat. I didn't. His fingers brushed wet hair from my face, tucking it behind my ear. The touch was gentle, possessive. It burned. Your mother, he said softly. Alessandra Vitale. You have her eyes. My breath caught. You knew her? I knew of her. His thumb traced my jawline, and I shivered, not from cold anymore. Our families have history, Ginevra. Blood history. The kind that doesn't wash away with rain or time. What history? That's a story for warmer, drier places. He stepped back, breaking contact. I almost swayed forward, chasing the heat. You'll come with me now. And if I refuse? You won't. The certainty in his voice rankled. You don't know me. I know you're standing in a warehouse with 6 armed men, no phone, no money, and nowhere to go. I know your father just sold you to clear his debts. I know you're cold, scared, and trying very hard not to show it. He tilted his head. I also know that part of you, the part you're ashamed of, wants to see what happens next. Heat flooded my cheeks, because he was right. God help me. He was right. A man appeared at Lazaro's shoulder, holding an umbrella and a coat. Lazaro took the coat, long, black, expensive, and draped it over my shoulders. It swallowed me, heavy with his scent. This way. He walked toward a side door. I didn't move. He paused, glancing back. I'm not a patient man, Ginevra, but for you, I'll wait. 5 seconds. 1. I could run. There had to be another exit. 2. His men blocked every visible door. 3. Even if I escaped, then what? Back to my father? To the empty apartment where bill collectors called daily? 4. Lazaro's eyes held mine, patient, knowing. 5. I walked toward him. His smile was victory and promise tangled together. The SUV waited outside, black and gleaming despite the downpour. Lazaro opened the door himself, hand at the small of my back as I climbed in. His touch seared through wet silk. He slid in beside me, close enough that our thighs almost touched. The door shut. The rain became muffled. We drove through Rome's night-slicked streets in silence. I watched the city blur past. Familiar landmarks turned strange through tinted windows. The driver never spoke. The guard in the passenger seat kept his hand near his weapon. Where are we going? My voice sounded small. Home. My home was. He turned to face me fully. Your home was with a man who used you as collateral. That ends tonight. So I'm collateral for you instead. No. His hand found mine in the dark. I should have pulled away. I didn't. You're something far more valuable. What? Mine. That word again. Mine. Possessive. Absolute. It should have repulsed me. Instead, my fingers tightened around his. The villa appeared through the rain like something from a dark fairy tale. Stone walls, iron gates, guards stationed at every entrance. The SUV rolled through, and I counted at least 8 armed men before we reached the main house. Inside, warm light spilled across marble floors. A chandelier hung overhead, crystal drops catching the glow. Antique furniture, oil paintings of stern-faced men who looked like they'd kill for sport. Wealth dripped from every surface, but it felt cold. Calculated. A woman appeared, older, gray-haired, kind-faced. She nodded at Lazaro, then looked at me with something like pity. Rosa will take you to your room, Lazaro said. There are clothes, toiletries, whatever you need. Rest. We'll talk in the morning. I followed Rosa up a curved staircase, down a hallway lined with doors. She opened one, revealing a bedroom that could fit my entire apartment inside it. 4-poster bed with silk sheets, ensuite bathroom visible through another door, a balcony overlooking gardens I couldn't see in the darkness. Luxury, beautiful, and the windows had bars. Rosa laid out towels, showed me the closet full of clothes in my exact size, then left without a word. I stood in the center of the room, dripping water onto expensive rugs, and realized I was trapped. Not with chains, not with locks, but trapped all the same. I showered until the water ran cold, trying to wash away the feeling of his hands on my skin. It didn't work. In the mirror, I looked for the girl I'd been this morning. Found someone else instead. someone with bruises forming on her arm where her father grabbed her, someone whose eyes held too many questions. The closet held a nightgown, silk, like the sheets. I pulled it on, and it whispered against my skin. I couldn't sleep. I paced, counting steps, touching furniture, testing the balcony door. Locked, of course. The bedroom door opened without warning. Lazaro stood in the doorway, still dressed but jacket gone, sleeves rolled to his elbows. He'd been working. I could see it in the tension across his shoulders. You should be asleep. You should knock. This is my house. Every room in it is mine. His eyes traced the nightgown. Including this one. My pulse jumped. I said we'd talk in the morning. I didn't say I wouldn't check on you. He crossed the room slowly. I backed up until the bed hit my legs. He kept coming until he stood close enough to touch, his body heat radiating against my thin gown. Ask me, he said. Ask you what? What you really want to know. My heart hammered. Why me? Of all the ways my father could have paid his debt, why did you want me? His hand rose, knuckles brushing my cheek. I leaned into the touch before I could stop myself. Because 15 years ago, your mother saved my life, he said quietly. And I've been looking for a way to repay that debt ever since. When your father came to me, desperate, I saw my chance. To do what? To keep you safe from him, from this world, from everything. His thumb traced my lower lip. And to keep you for myself. The admission hung between us, dark, honest, terrifying. You're obsessed with me, I whispered, and we've only just met. No, Ginevra. He leaned down, lips hovering over mine, not kissing, promising. I've been obsessed with you since the day I saw you at your mother's funeral. You were 8. I was 18. And I swore that when you were old enough, I'd make sure no one could ever hurt you again. My breath caught. Sleep, he murmured. Tomorrow your new life begins. He pulled away, leaving me cold and confused and aching. At the door, he paused. One more thing. Don't try to leave. The guards have orders to keep you here. Not to hurt you, never that. But you're not going anywhere until I say so. The lock clicked after him. I sank onto the bed, mind racing. He'd been watching me for 15 years. He knew my mother. He'd orchestrated this entire thing. And part of me, the dark, twisted part I'd always tried to bury, wanted to know what happened next. If you're already hooked by this dangerous game of obsession and power, a quick subscribe keeps the darkness coming, because this is just the beginning. Morning light filtered through barred windows, painting prison stripes across silk sheets. I'd barely slept. Every sound made me jump. Footsteps in the hallway, distant voices, the creak of old wood settling. When I finally drifted off, I dreamed of my mother. Her face blurred now after 15 years, but her voice remained clear. Be brave, Ginevra, even when the world wants you weak. A knock, softer than Lazaro's entrance last night. Rosa appeared with a tray, espresso, pastries, fresh fruit arranged like art. She set it on the bedside table, then gestured to the closet. Signor Marchetti requests your presence for breakfast. 30 minutes. No, would you like to join him? Just requests, commands wrapped in polite language. I drank the espresso standing at the window, watching the gardens below. In daylight, I could see the full scope of the property. High walls, guards patrolling, cameras mounted at intervals. Beautiful landscaping that couldn't hide the fortress underneath. The closet held designer labels I recognized from magazines, clothes I could never afford. I chose the simplest option: black pants, white blouse, flat shoes. armor disguised as casual wear. Rosa returned exactly 30 minutes later and led me through the villa. Down the grand staircase, through a drawing room where more stern ancestors glared from paintings, into a sunlit breakfast room. Lazzaro sat at the head of a long table reading a newspaper, espresso cup in hand. He looked up when I entered, and something flickered across his face. Approval? Possession? Sit. I took the chair farthest from him. His lips twitched. Stubborn. I expected that. What else did you expect? Gratitude? Eventually. He folded the newspaper, but we'll work up to it. A man appeared, older, distinguished, carrying himself like he'd seen violence and dealt it in equal measure. He whispered something to Lazzaro in rapid Italian I couldn't quite catch. Lazzaro's expression hardened. Handle it. Quietly. The man nodded and left. Business, Lazzaro said, as if that explained everything. It doesn't stop, even for breakfast. What kind of business? The kind you don't need to worry about. The kind that gets people killed? He set down his cup. Yes. At least he didn't lie. I picked at a pastry, appetite gone. Your father, he said, and my spine stiffened. He's alive, for now. Relocated to a small town north of here with enough money to live quietly if he's smart. And if he's not, then he won't be a problem anymore. Matter of fact, clinical, like discussing the weather. Tell me about my mother. I met his eyes. You said she saved your life. Lazzaro leaned back, studying me, calculating how much to reveal. I was 18, stupid. Thought I was invincible. Got caught in a territorial dispute between families. Your mother, Alessandra, she was there by accident. Wrong place, wrong time. When the shooting started, she pulled me behind a car. Kept pressure on my wound until help arrived. She never told me. She wouldn't have. That night was the reason your father moved you both away from Rome, to keep you safe from retribution. But it didn't work. No, because Giovanni is weak. He gambled away your safety bit by bit, year after year, until he came to me, desperate, offering the only thing I'd accept in payment. Me. You. I pushed away from the table, stood. I'm not some object you can collect because you owe a debt. No. He stood too, rounding the table. You're the daughter of the woman who saved my life. The girl I've protected from a distance since you were 8 years old. The woman I've wanted since you turned 21, and I could no longer pretend my interest was purely obligation. He stopped in front of me. Close. Too close. I've kept men from your door, paid off debts your father never knew I covered, made sure you finished university without interruption, all of it, Ginevra, because I was waiting, for the right moment, for you to need me as much as I needed you. My head spun. You're insane. Yes. No hesitation. But I'm insane with resources, power, and a very specific obsession. You'll learn the difference between men who destroy what they want and men who protect it. Protection? I gestured around. This is a cage. This is safety. There's a difference. Not from where I'm standing. His jaw tightened. You don't understand the world you were born into. Your mother did. She knew the cost of our family's history. That's why she tried to hide you. What history? You keep mentioning it but never explaining. Because you're not ready to hear it yet. Rage flared. Stop deciding what I can handle. Fine. He gripped my chin, forcing me to hold his gaze. Your mother's family and mine were bound by blood oath 3 generations ago. A pact that should have united our territories. But someone betrayed it. Someone sold information that got half my father's men killed. That traitor was never found. And the oath? It remains unfulfilled. cold dread settled in my stomach. What does that have to do with me? Everything. He released me. Because you're not just Giovanni Moretti's daughter, you're Alessandra Vitale's daughter, and the Vitales owe the Marchettis a debt that spans decades. So this is about revenge? Settling some ancient score? This is about claiming what's mine by right and by choice. His voice dropped, intimate and dangerous. The oath, my protection. You. I stepped back. I need air. Rosa will escort you to the gardens. Don't try to leave the property. Because your guards will stop me? Because I'm asking you not to. The please was unspoken, but I heard it anyway. It unsettled me more than threats would have. The gardens were stunning. Roses in full bloom, stone pathways winding through manicured hedges, a fountain at the center with water lilies floating. Rosa stayed 10 paces behind, giving the illusion of privacy. I walked until my legs ached, trying to process everything. My mother had saved Lazzaro. He'd been watching me for years. Our families were bound by some blood oath I knew nothing about. And he wanted me, not just because of debt or obligation. He wanted me in the way that made my skin flush and my pulse race when he stood too close. I stopped at a stone bench near the roses, sat, put my head in my hands. Deep thoughts? I jerked up. A man stood nearby, mid-20s, handsome in a boyish way with light hair and an easy smile. Not one of the guards. His suit was expensive, but worn casually. Who are you? Marco, Lazzaro's cousin. He gestured to the bench. Mind if I sit? I did mind, but he sat anyway. So you're the famous Ginevra. Lazzaro's been talking about you for years. Well, not talking exactly. Brooding, plotting. It's been entertaining. Glad I could provide amusement. Hey, no judgment. It's nice to see him focused on something other than business and revenge. Marco stretched his legs out. Though I have to warn you, he's not good at relationships. He's good at possession. There's a difference. I noticed. But he's loyal. Once you're his forever. He'll burn the world down before he lets anything hurt you. That's supposed to be comforting? In this life? Marco's smile faded. Yeah, it is. A shout from the house, then gunfire. Marco grabbed my arm, yanking me behind a hedge. Rosa appeared, weapon drawn, positioning herself between us and the villa. 3 shots. Silence. Then Lazzaro's voice, cold and commanding. Marco relaxed slightly. Stay here. What's happening? Someone just made a very stupid decision. He jogged toward the house. Rosa kept her gun up, eyes scanning. Minutes crawled past. Then Lazzaro emerged, jacket off, blood on his white shirt. Not his blood. His movements were too steady. His eyes found mine across the garden. The relief that flashed across his face lasted only a second before control reasserted itself. He strode toward me, and Rosa stepped aside. Are you hurt? I shook my head, mute. Good. He cupped my face, thumbs stroking my cheekbones. A rival family sent a message. I sent one back. It's handled. You killed someone, just now, in your house. Yes. No apology, no justification. This is my world, Ginevra. Violence is currency here. The sooner you accept that, the safer you'll be. I don't want to accept it. You don't have a choice. He leaned down, forehead against mine. But I promise you this. No blood will touch you, ever. You'll live in luxury and safety while I do what's necessary to keep it that way. By killing. By protecting what's mine. He pulled back, and I saw it then. The darkness that lived behind his eyes, the violence he wore as comfortably as his expensive suits. This man had killed before, would kill again, and felt nothing but necessity. Come inside, he said. We'll move you to a more secure wing until this is resolved. Resolved? until everyone knows what happens when they threaten what belongs to me. He took my hand, led me back to the villa, past guards cleaning blood from marble floors, past the body being carried out in silence. I should have been horrified, traumatized. Instead, I felt his hand in mine, warm, steady, strong, and wondered what was wrong with me that some twisted part found security in his violence. They moved me to the east wing. More guards, fewer windows, a bedroom that felt less like luxury and more like a vault. I spent 3 days there, seeing no one but Rosa and occasional guards bringing meals. No Lazaro, no Marco. Just silence and my spiraling thoughts. On the 4th day, Rosa brought a dress. Black, elegant, form-fitting, shoes, jewelry. Signor Marchetti requests your company for dinner. Requests. Always requests that weren't. I dressed because refusing felt pointless. The dress hugged every curve, and the heels made my legs look longer. I barely recognized myself in the mirror, this polished, beautiful stranger who looked like she belonged in a Mafia Don's world. Guards escorted me down, different hallways, deeper into the villa. We stopped at ornate double doors. They opened. The room was intimate. Small table set for 2. Candles. Wine. Lazaro standing by the window in a charcoal suit, hands in pockets, looking out at the night. He turned when I entered. The hunger in his eyes could have set me on fire. You look... He crossed to me slowly. Perfect. Where have you been? Cleaning up the mess, making examples, ensuring it doesn't happen again. He pulled out my chair. Sit. We have things to discuss. I sat. He poured wine, deep red, expensive, took the seat across from me. The attack wasn't random, he began. It was a test, to see if my attention had become divided. By me. By you. He sipped his wine. Word travels fast in our world. Lazaro Marchetti claims a woman, keeps her close, kills for her safety. It makes rivals curious, aggressive. Then let me go, problem solved. No. Why not? Because letting you go would signal weakness, and weakness gets you killed in this life. He set down his glass. But more than that, I told you, you're mine. I don't give up what's mine. I drank to avoid responding. The wine was velvet on my tongue. I'm offering you a choice, he said. That's new. His jaw tightened. You can stay here, under guard, protected but essentially imprisoned, or you can step into this world properly, with me as mine in every sense. My heart hammered. What does that mean? It means you stop fighting what's between us. Stop pretending you don't feel it. He leaned forward. It means you accept that you belong here, with me, and in return, I give you everything. Freedom within my protection, power, purpose. And what do you get? You, completely. The word hung between us. Completely, total, absolute. This isn't a choice. It's an ultimatum. No, an ultimatum would be threatening you. I'm offering you something better than the half-life you were living. Your father's debts, your dead-end job, the apartment where you felt alone every night. His eyes bored into mine. I'm offering you a place where you're valued, cherished, protected, owned. Yes, no apology. But by a man who will kill anyone who looks at you wrong, who will give you anything you ask for, who has wanted you since you were too young for him to admit it, and now that you're here, will never let you go. My breath came short. You're insane. We've established that. He stood, rounding the table. But you're not running. You're not screaming. You're sitting here, pulse racing, trying to pretend you're not tempted. He stopped beside my chair. I couldn't look up, couldn't meet his eyes. His hand touched my shoulder, slid up to my neck, gentle, possessive. Look at me, Ginevra. I did. Those black eyes consumed me. Say yes. To what? To staying, to being mine, to letting this happen. I don't even know what this is. Then let me show you. He pulled me up, against him, hard muscle and heat. His hand threaded through my hair, tilting my head back. His other arm banded around my waist, holding me captive. Say yes. Why should I? Because you're tired of fighting alone, because I terrify you and thrill you in equal measure, because when I touch you, you don't pull away. His lips hovered over mine. Because you want this as much as I do, and you hate yourself for it. Truth hit like a bullet. Yes, I whispered. He claimed my mouth, not gentle, not asking, taking. His kiss was possession and promise, hunger barely leashed. I gasped, and he deepened it, tasting me like he'd been starving, my hands fisted in his jacket, pulling him closer. Wrong. So wrong. But I couldn't stop. He broke away, breathing hard. You're mine now, officially. Everyone will know it. How? You'll see. The next morning, I woke to find new clothes in my closet. Designer labels, expensive tastes, and a box on the vanity, black velvet tied with ribbon. Inside, a necklace, diamond encrusted. The centerpiece was a stylized M for Marchetti, a collar disguised as jewelry. Rosa entered. Signor Marchetti is waiting. I fastened the necklace, felt its weight settle against my throat. Lazzaro stood in the foyer with Marco and two other men I didn't recognize. When he saw me, his eyes dropped to the necklace. Satisfaction curled his lips. Perfect. Where are we going? To introduce you to my world properly. The convoy, 3 SUVs, armed men, drove through Rome to the business district. We stopped at a gleaming high-rise. Lazzaro's legitimate front, I assumed. The empire that hid the blood underneath. Inside, everything screamed power. Marble lobbies, assistants in perfect suits, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. We rode the elevator to the top floor, Lazzaro's office, massive desk, leather chairs, art that probably cost more than houses. Wait here, he said, then disappeared into a conference room. I explored, touched expensive things, looked out at Rome sprawling below, a city that had no idea what happened in rooms like this. The door opened. Lazzaro gestured me in. The conference room held 8 men, all older, all watching me with varying degrees of curiosity and calculation. Gentlemen, Lazzaro said, this is Ginevra Moretti, under my protection. Anyone who touches her answers to me. Silence, then nods, acknowledgments. One man, silver-haired, sharp-eyed, smiled. Moretti, I knew your father. My condolences, I said flatly. Laughter, real laughter. The tension broke. I like her, the man said. She's got spine. Yes, Lazzaro agreed. She does. The meeting proceeded. Business talk, territory disputes, shipments, money laundering through legitimate channels. I sat beside Lazzaro, silent, absorbing. They spoke carefully around me at first. Then, as the meeting went on, they stopped censoring. Accepted my presence as extension of Lazzaro's authority. When one man disagreed with Lazzaro's strategy, voices rose. Threats were veiled thinly. Lazzaro stood, placed both hands on the table, leaned forward. My decision is final. If you can't accept that, there's the door. But know this, walk out, and you're no longer under my protection. The man paled, sat down, nodded. Power, absolute, terrifying. After the meeting, Lazzaro took my hand. Lunch. There's someone I want you to meet. We drove to a small restaurant in Trastevere, family-owned, intimate. The owner greeted Lazzaro like a son, kissing both cheeks. Inside, a woman waited, elderly, elegant, with kind eyes that sharpened when she saw me. Nonna, Lazzaro said, this is Ginevra. his grandmother, the matriarch. She stood, taking my hands, studying my face. Alessandra's daughter. I see it. You have her strength. You knew my mother? I delivered you into this world, child. Your mother and I were friends long before our family's troubles. Lazzaro pulled out chairs. We sat. Food appeared, homemade pasta, wine, bread. You're important to my grandson, Nonna said. He doesn't bring women here. Ever. Nonna. Hush. She patted his hand. Ginevra, you must understand. Lazzaro has carried burdens since he was a boy. His father's murder, rebuilding the family, maintaining power through violence. It's made him hard, closed. She looked at me with those sharp eyes. But he's been waiting for you for 15 years. Don't break his heart. I'm not sure he has one to break. Lazzaro's hand found mine under the table. Squeezed. He does, Nonna said. It's just buried deep. Find it, Ginevra. It's worth the search. After lunch in the SUV, I turned to him. 15 years. Your grandmother confirms it. You've been watching me since I was 8. Yes? That's not romantic. That's stalking. In my world, it's protection. His thumb stroked my knuckles. Your mother asked me to watch over you if anything happened to her. She knew your father would fail you. I've honored that promise. By making me yours? By ensuring you survive. We drove to the villa in silence. Inside, Lazzaro led me to his study, poured whiskey, handed me a glass. You did well today, with the men, with Nonna. Why does their approval matter? Because they're my world. If they accept you, you're safer. And if they don't, then they become problems I eliminate. He drank. But they do. Accept you. I saw it. I sipped. The whiskey burned. What happens now? Now you learn how this empire functions, where your place in it is. As your trophy? As my partner. He crossed to me, cupped my face. I'm not looking for decoration, Ginevra. I'm looking for someone strong enough to stand beside me when everything goes to hell. And it will. Often. Why me? Because you're Alessandra's daughter. Because you've survived Giovanni's failures. Because you stood in that warehouse, terrified, and still looked me in the eye. His voice dropped. Because when I kiss you, you kiss back. Even though you hate yourself for wanting me. I do hate myself. Good. It means you're still fighting. I like that. He smiled, dark, promising. Keep fighting, Ginevra. It makes the surrender sweeter. He kissed me then. Slower this time, thorough. His hands on my waist, my back, pulling me flush against him. I melted into it, hating and craving in equal measure. When he pulled away, we were both breathing hard. Sleep in my room tonight, he murmured. No, I won't touch you. Not until you beg me to. I won't beg. We'll see. He released me. But the offer stands, my door, always open for you. I left his study on shaking legs, heart pounding, hating how much I wanted to turn back. 3 days passed. I learned the rhythms of Lazzaro's world, early morning meetings, late night calls, the constant flow of men seeking his approval or delivering news. He gave me freedom within the walls, access to his library, the gardens, even his study when he wasn't there, trust in small increments. Rosa told me about the household, how Lazzaro had killed his father's murderer when he was 19, how he'd rebuilt the family from ashes, eliminating rivals with surgical precision, how men feared him not for cruelty, but for absolute justice. He's fair, Rosa said. Harsh, but fair. You know where you stand with him. I stood at the edge of madness, apparently. On the 4th day, my phone, which I'd thought lost, appeared on my breakfast tray, fully charged, no restrictions. I stared at it, picked it up, scrolled through messages, dozens from unknown numbers, friends asking where I'd disappeared to, my old boss demanding I call, bill collectors, nothing from my father. One message made my blood freeze. Your sister is in the hospital. Stage 4. Call me. Aunt Bianca's sister. I had a half-sister I barely knew, Lucia, 16, from my father's second failed relationship. We'd met twice, but still. I found Lazaro in his office on the phone. He saw my face and ended the call immediately. What's wrong? I showed him the message. He read it, expression unreadable. You have a sister. Half-sister. I didn't know she was sick. Where is she? Hospital Santo Spirito, probably. That's where my father's side goes. Lazaro picked up his phone, dialed. I need patient information for Lucia Moretti, 16, likely at Santo Spirito. Pause. Find her. Call me back in 5 minutes. He hung up, looked at me. We'll handle this. Just like that? Just like that. His phone rang. He listened, frowned. Transfer her. Best private room at Gemelli, oncology. Assemble a team. Best specialists in Rome. Bill it to me. Pause. I don't care what it costs. Do it. He ended the call. She has leukemia, advanced. She'll be at Gemelli in 2 hours with the best doctors in the country. I couldn't speak, couldn't process. Why? I finally managed. Because she's yours. What's yours is mine to protect. Tears burned. I blinked them back. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Let's see if we can save her. Gemelli Hospital gleamed with sterility and wealth. Lazaro walked through like he owned it. Probably did, financially speaking. Nurses scattered. Doctors appeared instantly. We were led to a private wing, Lucia's room. She looked tiny in the hospital bed, pale, bald from treatment I hadn't known about. 16, but looking 12. My Aunt Bianca sat beside her, gray with exhaustion. She looked up when we entered, confusion, then recognition. Ginevra? I got your message. I moved to the bed, took Lucia's frail hand. Hey, kid. Lucia's eyes fluttered open. Ginny? Yeah, I'm here. I'm dying. No. I squeezed her hand. You're fighting, and you're going to win. Bianca stood. Who are you? She asked Lazaro. The man ensuring she has the best possible care. We can't afford. It's handled. Bianca's eyes widened. I've heard about you. You're him, Marchetti. Yes. And you're with my niece? She's under my protection. Bianca looked between us. Understanding dawned. I see. A doctor appeared, Dr. Rossini, chief of oncology. He explained Lucia's condition in clinical terms that boiled down to bad, but not hopeless. New treatments, experimental protocols, bone marrow transplant if they could find a match. Test me, I said immediately. And me, Lazaro added. Dr. Rossini blinked. Sir, you're not family. Test me anyway. They drew blood, ran tests. Hours passed. Lazaro stayed, making calls, arranging things I couldn't comprehend, money flowing like water to ensure Lucia had everything. I sat with her. She drifted in and out of consciousness. When she was awake, we talked about school, about her mother who'd died 2 years ago, about our father who'd disappeared. He left me too, she whispered. When I got sick, couldn't handle it. He's good at leaving. But you came. Of course I came. She smiled weakly. I always wanted a big sister, even though we barely know each other. We'll fix that. You're going to get better, and I'll annoy you constantly. Promise? Promise. Dr. Rossini returned. Miss Moretti, you're a match. Not perfect, but viable. We can proceed with transplant when she's strong enough. Relief crashed through me. When? 3 weeks, maybe 4. We need to stabilize her first. I looked at Lazaro. He nodded. Do it, I said, whatever it takes. We left the hospital near midnight. I was exhausted, emotionally wrung out. Lazaro held my hand in the SUV, silent support. At the villa, I went straight to my room, collapsed on the bed, fully clothed. A knock. Lazaro entered without waiting for permission. His habit. You need to eat. Not hungry. Ginevra, I can't lose her. I just found her. I can't. My voice cracked. He crossed to me, pulled me up into his arms. I resisted for half a second, then broke, sobbed into his chest while he held me, one hand stroking my hair. You won't lose her, he murmured. I promise you. You can't promise that. Watch me. He tilted my face up. I will move heaven and hell to save her, because she's yours, and what's yours is mine. Why do you keep doing this? Helping me? Giving me things? Because I told you. You're mine, and I take care of what's mine. I'm not a possession. No, you're far more valuable than that. His thumb brushed my tears away. You're everything. The words hung between us, heavy, true. I don't understand you, I whispered. You will, in time. He kissed my forehead, gentle, reverent, then released me. Sleep. I'll have Rosa bring food. You need strength for what's coming. What's coming? You're donating bone marrow in a few weeks. It's painful, difficult. You'll need to be strong. I can handle it. I know you can. He moved to the door, paused. But you don't have to handle it alone anymore. After he left, I lay in the dark, processing. Lazaro had mobilized an army of doctors, paid for everything, stayed by my side for hours without complaint. All for a girl he barely knew, just because she was connected to me. This wasn't just obsession, this was devotion, twisted and dark, but real. The next morning, I woke to find a note on my nightstand. Business in Naples. Back tomorrow. Marco will stay with you. Don't leave the property. El Marco appeared at breakfast, cheerful as always. So, you're stuck with me. Fun times. Lazaro said you'd babysit. Bodyguard. It sounds cooler. He poured coffee. But seriously, he's dealing with some heavy stuff in Naples. Territory disputes. Someone tried to move in on his shipping operations. And he'll kill them. Probably. That's kind of his thing. Marco studied me. You're handling this better than I expected. What did you expect? Tears. Hysteria. Demands to be freed. He sipped his coffee. Instead, you're just here. Adapting. What choice do I have? Fair point. He leaned back. Can I ask you something? Do you love him? The question gutted me. I don't know. But you feel something. I feel a lot of things. None of them make sense. That's love in this world. Nothing makes sense. You just hold on and hope you survive it. We spent the day in relative normalcy. Marco showed me the villa's hidden passages, escape routes, he called them. In case everything goes to hell, you need to know how to run. Why would everything go to hell? It always does, eventually. In the afternoon, we visited Lucia. She was stronger, color returning to her cheeks. The doctors were pleased with her progress. Your boyfriend paid for everything, she said, smiling weakly. He's scary. He's not my boyfriend. What is he then? Good question. Complicated. He looks at you like you're the only person in the room. Even when doctors are talking, his eyes are on you. She squeezed my hand. That's not complicated. That's love. You're 16. What do you know about love? Enough to recognize it. That night, I couldn't sleep. I wandered the villa, ending up in Lazaro's study. His scent lingered, expensive cologne and whiskey. I touched his desk, his chair, the books on his shelves, philosophy, war strategy, classic literature. Complex man hiding beneath the violence. A photo caught my eye, tucked into a book spine. I pulled it out. Me. At my university graduation. I didn't remember seeing him there, but he'd been watching, always watching. On the back, in his handwriting, "She doesn't know I'm here, but I am. Always." My heart twisted. The door opened. Marco stood there, expression serious. "Lazaro's calling. It's urgent." I took the phone. "Hello?" "Ginevra." His voice was strained. "I need you to listen carefully. Don't panic." Ice flooded my veins. "What happened?" "There's been a situation. Rivals know about Lucia. They're planning to hit the hospital." "What? When?" "Tonight. I've already sent men, but I need you to go there now with Marco. Get Lucia and Bianca out. Take them to the secondary safe house." "Where are you?" "Handling the people responsible." Background noise, shouts, gunfire. "Go, now. Keep her safe. I'll find you when this is done." The line went dead. Marco grabbed my arm. "Move. Now." We ran. The drive to Gemelli was chaos. Marco drove like a demon, weaving through traffic, one hand on the wheel, the other on his phone, coordinating with Lazaro's men. "How many?" I asked. "At least 6, maybe more. They're coming for Lucia to draw Lazaro out." "Why her?" "Because hurting what he loves is the fastest way to destroy him." Marco glanced at me. "And everyone knows he'd burn Rome down for you." We screeched into the hospital parking garage. 4 SUVs already there, Lazaro's men securing the perimeter. Inside, Marco and I ran to Lucia's floor. Guards posted at every entrance now. One nodded at Marco. "Status?" "Clear so far. But we got word they're 3 minutes out." We burst into Lucia's room. She and Bianca looked up, startled. "We need to move you," I said, already disconnecting monitors. "Now!" "What's happening?" Bianca stood, fear sharp on her face. "No time. Come on." Dr. Rossini appeared. "Miss Moretti, you can't just—" "She's in danger. We're moving her. You can bill Marchetti for the inconvenience." I helped Lucia into a wheelchair. She was weak but conscious. Marco led us through service corridors, away from main halls. We reached the parking garage. An SUV waited, engine running. Then gunfire erupted. Marco shoved us behind a concrete pillar. "Stay down." Men poured into the garage, not Lazaro's men, rivals, armed, focused. Marco returned fire. Lazaro's guards engaged. The garage became a war zone. Bullets ricocheting, screams, the smell of gunpowder. I covered Lucia with my body, Bianca beside us, praying. A man broke through, headed straight for us, raised his weapon. Marco appeared, tackling him. They fought, brutal, desperate. Marco got the upper hand, disarmed him, then snapped his neck with cold efficiency. "Go," Marco shouted. "Get to the car." I pushed Lucia's wheelchair, running, Bianca beside me. Bullets chased us. We reached the SUV. The driver, one of Lazaro's men, opened the door. We shoved Lucia inside, Bianca climbing in after. "Get in," Marco yelled. I turned. He was holding off 3 men, bleeding from his shoulder but still fighting. "Marco!" "Go, I'll catch up." The driver grabbed my arm, pulling me into the SUV. The door slammed. We peeled out, tires screaming. I looked back through the rear window. Marco still fighting, Lazaro's men rallying around him. Then we turned a corner, and he was gone. The safe house was a fortified apartment in the city center. Top floor, reinforced doors, guards already positioned. We got Lucia settled. A medic appeared, one of Lazaro's people, hooking her back up to IV fluids, checking vitals. "She's stable," he confirmed, "but she needs rest." Bianca sat with her, holding her hand. I paced, phone clutched, waiting for word. An hour passed. 2. Finally, my phone rang. Ginevra, Lazaro's voice, exhausted but alive. Are you okay? I'm fine, Marco. I don't know, we had to leave him. He's here, wounded but alive. They're patching him up now. Relief crashed through me. The men who came after Lucia? Dead. All of them. No emotion, just fact. And I'm on my way to you. The people who ordered the hit? Silence. Then, being handled as we speak. Translation, dying slowly. I'll be there in 30 minutes. Don't leave the safe house. He hung up. I collapsed on the couch, adrenaline fading, leaving exhaustion behind. 32 minutes later, heavy footsteps in the hallway. The door opened. Lazaro filled the doorway. Blood spattered his shirt. Not his. His knuckles were bruised, split. But his eyes found mine immediately, searching for injury. I stood. He crossed to me in 3 strides, pulled me against him, arms banding around me like I might disappear. You're safe, he breathed into my hair. I'm fine. Lucia's fine. If they'd touched you, they didn't. He pulled back, hands framing my face. I should have been there. You were dealing with the source. I should have been there, he repeated, his voice cracked, actual emotion breaking through his control. I touched his chest, felt his racing heart. But you made sure we had protection. Marco and your men saved us. Marco's a good soldier. He'll heal. Lazaro's thumb stroked my cheekbone. But you could have been killed. Because of me. Because they know what you mean to me. What do I mean to you? The question hung between us. His eyes burned into mine. Everything, he whispered. You mean everything. Then he kissed me. Not gentle, not controlled, raw and desperate and claiming, his hands in my hair, on my waist, pulling me impossibly closer. I kissed back with equal hunger, weeks of tension exploding. We stumbled backward, hit a wall. His body pressed against mine, all hard muscle and heat. His mouth moved to my jaw, my neck, marking me. Mine, he growled against my skin. Say it. Yours, I gasped. His hands slid under my shirt, fingers splaying across my ribs. Again. Yours, Lazaro. I'm yours. He lifted me, my legs wrapped around his waist. He carried me down a hallway, kicking open a bedroom door, laid me on the bed with surprising gentleness given the fire between us. He stood over me, breathing hard, eyes blazing. If we do this, there's no going back. I know. You'll be mine, completely, in every way that matters. I already am. Something shifted in his expression. The predator satisfied, the man revealed. He came down over me, hands mapping my body like territory to claim, lips following. Every touch was possession and worship tangled together. Clothes disappeared, barriers fell. When he finally entered me, it was with my name on his lips, reverent and desperate. We moved together, fast and rough, then slow and deep. His eyes held mine, refusing to let me look away, demanding I stay present for every moment. Feel that? He rasped. Feel what you do to me? Yes. This is forever, Ginevra. You and me, no escape, no going back. I don't want to escape. He groaned, movements becoming erratic. Say my name. Lazaro. Again. Lazaro, please. He buried his face in my neck, one hand fisting in my hair. I love you. God help me, I love you. The confession shattered me. I came apart in his arms, crying his name, and he followed seconds later, shuddering against me. We lay tangled together afterward, hearts slowing. His hand traced lazy patterns on my hip. I meant it, he said quietly. I love you. I've loved you since you were too young for me to admit it. Watched you grow up. Waited. And now that you're here, I'll never let you go. I turned in his arms, looked into those dark eyes. I think I love you too. I don't know when it happened, but somewhere between fear and hate, I fell. He smiled, genuine, breathtaking. Good. Good? Because I'd have kept you anyway, but this is better. I laughed, actual laughter. You're insane. We've established this. He pulled me closer. But I'm yours, completely. And I'm yours. Yes. He kissed me softly. You are. We returned to the villa 2 days later. Lucia stabilized, safe under guard at the safe house with Bianca and a full medical team. The men who'd ordered the hit, their bodies were found in various locations throughout Rome. Messages written in blood. Nobody moved against Lazzaro Marchetti's woman again. Life shifted into a new rhythm. I stopped sleeping in the guest room, moved into Lazzaro's bedroom, our bedroom, woke up in his arms, fell asleep against his chest. The violence didn't stop. It never would in his world. But I stopped flinching from it, learned to accept that this was the price of loving a man like him. He gave me everything. Access to his empire, his secrets, his vulnerability in the dark hours when nightmares woke him, and he held me like I was his only anchor to humanity. I gave him myself, completely, knowing it was madness, but it was our madness. 3 weeks in paradise, or as close to paradise as possible when your lover is a mafia kingpin. Lazzaro taught me his world properly now. I sat in on meetings, learned the players, understood the chess game of territory and power. He valued my input, asked my opinion, listened when I spoke. You think like a strategist, he said one evening after a particularly tense negotiation. Not emotional, tactical. My mother's daughter. Yes, he poured wine. About that, it's time you knew the full truth. We were in his study, rain against windows, fire in the hearth, intimate and secure. I set down my glass. The blood oath you mentioned. Yes. He pulled out a folder from his desk. Old, worn. This goes back 3 generations. Before my grandfather. Before your mother's family was even Vitale. He spread photos across the desk. Old black and white images. Men in suits. Women in elegant dresses. Your great-grandfather, Antonio Vitale, and my great-grandfather, Salvatore Marchetti, were partners. Built the first networks together. Blood brothers, bonded by oath. Their children were promised to each other. My grandmother to your mother's uncle. But they didn't marry. No, because someone betrayed the oath, sold information about a major deal to rivals. My great-grandfather's men were slaughtered. Salvatore survived, but barely. He broke the alliance. The family split. He pulled out another photo. A woman, beautiful, dark-eyed. This is your grandmother, Elena Vitale. She was the one who betrayed them. I stared. What? She was in love with a rival family's son. Gave them information hoping they'd spare him in the attack. They didn't. He died anyway. And she lived with that guilt until it killed her. Why are you telling me this? Because Elena had 3 children. Your mother Alessandra was one. The oath still hung over them, unpaid, unresolved. When your mother saved my life, she was trying to balance it, trying to fix what her mother broke. He moved around the desk, took my hands. That's why I've protected you. Not just because your mother saved me, but because you carry the weight of that oath. Your payment for old sins. I'm not payment for anything. No. He cupped my face. You're not. That's what I realized. Somewhere between obligation and obsession, I fell in love with you for you, not for what you represent. But the oath is fulfilled now, by choice, not obligation. You're mine because we both want it. I processed this. Generations of betrayal and blood. My grandmother's mistake rippling forward through time. Is there more? Yes. He hesitated. Your mother's death. It wasn't an accident. Cold dread settled in my stomach. What do you mean? The car crash that killed her. It was staged. Rivals who wanted to hurt the remaining Vitale line. Send a message. Who? The Costas. They're gone now. I made sure of it after I took control of the family. You avenged my mother? I avenged the woman who saved my life, and I protected her daughter before anyone else could touch her. Tears burned. You've been watching me since your mother's funeral. You were 8, terrified, lost, and I swore you'd never be hurt again. That's why you pushed Giovanni away from Rome. Yes, forced him out, threatened him, kept you safe from a distance until you were old enough that I could bring you here properly. I pulled away, paced. This is insane. You've shaped my entire life. I've protected it. Without my knowledge, without my choice. Because you were a child, then a teenager, then a woman too young to understand the danger around her. He stood. I make no apologies, Ginevra. I did what was necessary. And now? Now you have a choice. Stay with me knowing everything, or walk away. I laughed bitterly. You said you'd never let me go. I won't, but I'll give you the illusion of choice if it makes you feel better. You're impossible. I'm honest. He crossed to me. I love you. Everything I've done has been to ensure you survive, thrive, even the dark parts, especially the dark parts. I looked at him, this dangerous, obsessive, devoted man who'd killed for me, bled for me, loved me with terrifying intensity. I hate that I love you, I whispered. I know. He pulled me close. But you do, and that's enough. The next day, Nonna visited. Rosa brought her to the garden where I was reading. May I sit? She asked. Of course. She settled on the bench beside me, studying my face. You know now. About the oath? Yes. And you're angry. I don't know what I am. You're conflicted. That's natural. She patted my hand. But understand this, child. Lazzaro has carried guilt since he was a boy. His father's murder, the family's near destruction, rebuilding from blood and ash. Your mother was the first person to show him kindness in that hell. She saved him, and he internalized that as debt that could never be repaid. So he made me payment. No, he made you salvation. Her eyes were kind but sharp. Men like Lazzaro don't love often. When they do, it consumes them. He's chosen you, not from obligation, from need. That doesn't make it healthy. No, but healthy isn't always possible in this world. Sometimes survival is enough. Sometimes love is a weapon against the darkness, even if the love itself is dark. She stood. But only you can decide if it's worth it. After she left, I sat in the garden for hours, processing, weighing. Lazzaro found me at sunset, sat beside me without speaking. Your grandmother is wise, I finally said. She is. She says you love me like it's a war. It is, against every instinct to push you away for your safety, against my better judgment, against the knowledge that loving you makes you a target. He took my hand. But I can't stop. I tried. For years I tried. And then you were in that warehouse, and I knew I was done pretending I could ever let you go. What if I want to leave? Then I'll let you walk out the door, and I'll follow you, forever, until you either accept that we're inevitable or I die trying to keep you safe from the shadows. That's not letting me go. No, but it's as close as I can get. I turned to face him. I'm not leaving. Hope flickered in his eyes. No? No. Because as insane as this is, as dark and twisted and wrong, I love you. I choose you, knowing everything. He exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for 15 years. Ginevra. But I have conditions. His lips twitched. Of course you do. No more secrets. You tell me everything, every danger, every move. I'm your partner, not your possession. Agreed. And Lucia, she's my family. She stays protected, always. Already handled. She'll have guards for life. And if this goes to hell, if your enemies come for me, I want to learn to protect myself. Teach me. Pride flashed across his face. I was hoping you'd ask. He pulled me into his arms, kissed me under the dying sun. You're mine, he murmured. And you're mine, I replied. Yes. He smiled. I am, completely. That night, in our bedroom, he showed me the full extent of his empire. Maps, financial records, alliances, enemies. This is everything, he said. No more secrets. I studied it all, the complexity, the danger, the blood required to maintain it. And if I want out, I asked, if I can't handle this, then I walk away from all of it, for you. I looked at him. You'd give up your empire? In a heartbeat. You're more valuable than any of this. You're lying. I'm not. He pulled me close. Test me. Ask me to walk away. I'll do it. No. Why not? Because this is who you are, and I love you for it, not in spite of it. His eyes darkened. Then we're both damned. Probably. I smiled. But at least we're damned together. He kissed me. Slow. Deep. Full of promises neither of us could keep but would die trying. And in the dark, wrapped in his arms, I accepted the truth. I'd fallen in love with a monster, but he was my monster, and I wouldn't want him any other way. 4 weeks since the attack. Lucia was improving. The bone marrow transplant scheduled for next week. I trained daily now. Lazaro taught me hand-to-hand combat. Marco taught me how to shoot. I learned to move through the villa like his men, aware, strategic, deadly if necessary. You're good, Marco said after I hit 3 targets in succession. Natural. My mother's daughter, I said, echoing Lazaro's words. Alessandra would be proud. I lowered the gun. Did you know her? No, but Lazaro talked about her, how she moved through that firefight like she'd done it before, like she wasn't afraid. She was probably terrified. Maybe, but she didn't show it. That's the key. Never show fear. It's blood in the water. We returned to the villa. Guards nodded as we passed. I was one of them now, Lazaro's woman, protected and respected in equal measure. But cracks were forming. I felt them. Lazaro was tense. Meetings ran longer, phone calls at all hours. Something was wrong. I found him in his study one night, whiskey in hand, staring at nothing. Talk to me, I said. He looked up, exhausted. We have a problem. What kind? The Benedettis. They're making moves, testing boundaries. They want war. I sat across from him. Why? Because I've been distracted. He gestured to me. Because everyone knows I love you, and love is weakness in this world. So what do? I crush them before they think they have a chance. He drank. But it means war. Real war. Bodies. Retaliation. Blood. And you're worried about me. I'm terrified, he admitted, because you're the one thing they can use against me. I reached across the desk, took his hand. Then we show them I'm not a weakness. I'm an asset. His eyes narrowed. What are you suggesting? Let me stand with you, publicly. Show them I'm not some fragile thing to exploit, that I'm yours, and I'm just as dangerous. Ginevra, I'm serious. You said I could be your partner, so let me. He studied me, calculating, then slowly nodded. There's a meeting tomorrow. Major players, the Benedettis will be there. If you come, I'm coming. It sends a message, but it also makes you a confirmed target. I'm already a target, at least this way, I'm an active one. He pulled me into his lap, held me close. You're either very brave or very stupid. Both, probably. He laughed, actual laughter, rare and beautiful. All right, tomorrow, but you stay close to me, and if shooting starts, you run. Deal. The meeting was at a neutral location, a warehouse retrofitted as conference space. 20 men, all heads of families or high-ranking soldiers. Lazaro entered with his hand on my back. Every eye tracked us. Gentlemen, he said, this is Ginevra, my partner. Anything you say to me, you say to her. Silence, then murmurs. One man, older, scarred, smiled. Partner or pet? I met his gaze. Neither. I'm the woman who will remember your face if you disrespect him again. Laughter. Genuine. The tension broke slightly. Lazaro's hand squeezed my waist. Pride. We took our seats. The Benedettis sat across. 3 brothers, all built like bulls, all watching me like I was a puzzle to solve. The eldest spoke. Marchetti, we have concerns about territory divisions in the southern districts. Your concerns are noted and dismissed, Lazaro replied calmly. The divisions were agreed upon 2 years ago. Nothing has changed. Except you've been distracted. The Benedetti's eyes flicked to me. We wonder if your focus has shifted. My focus, Lazaro said, voice dropping dangerously, is absolute. Test it, and you'll discover exactly how focused I can be. That sounds like a threat. It's a promise. The middle brother leaned forward. We're not afraid of you, Marchetti. Then you're fools. I spoke before thinking. Every head turned. Lazaro Marchetti has held the city for 15 years. He's eliminated every rival who thought they could take what's his. You 3 want to be next? Go ahead. Make your move. Silence, thick enough to choke on. The eldest Benedetti smiled slowly. She has teeth. I like that. You won't like them when they're at your throat, I replied. More laughter, but uneasy now. The meeting continued. Territory disputes, shipping routes, money flows. I listened, learned, occasionally offered input that made Lazaro glance at me with approval. When it ended, the Benedettis lingered. Marchetti, the eldest said, your woman is interesting. She's off limits, Lazaro replied flatly. Completely. Understood. But his smile suggested otherwise. We left. In the SUV, Lazaro pulled me close. You did well. I threatened them. You stood your ground. They respect that more than fear. But they're still planning something. Yes. His jaw tightened. Which is why we move first. That night, Lazaro gathered his inner circle. Marco, 3 other lieutenants, and me. The Benedettis are moving product through our southern ports without permission, he said, spreading maps across the table. They think I won't notice or won't care. They're wrong on both counts. What's the play? Marco asked. We hit their warehouse. Tonight, seize the product. Send them a message they can't ignore. How many men? One lieutenant asked. 10. Fast and brutal. In and out before they can respond. I'm coming, I said. Every head turned. No, Lazaro said immediately. Yes, you said I'm your partner. Partners don't sit home while you risk your life. This is different. How? I've trained. I can shoot. I can handle myself. Ginevra, do you trust me or not? The room held its breath. Lazaro's jaw worked. This isn't about trust. Then what is it about? Fear. Raw honesty. I'm terrified of losing you. You won't, because I'll be right beside you. He stared at me, then slowly nodded. Fine. But you stay in the vehicle until we secure the building. Non-negotiable. Deal. We moved at midnight, 3 SUVs, armed men, silent as death through Rome's empty streets. The warehouse sat on the outskirts, old, industrial, perfect for hiding illegal operations. Lazaro's team moved like a machine, coordinated, efficient. I watched from the SUV, heart pounding, gun in my lap. They breached the doors. Gunfire erupted, short, controlled bursts. Then silence. Lazaro's voice through the comm. Clear. Ginevra, stay put. I waited, counted seconds. Then movement in the shadows. Not from the warehouse. Behind us. 3 men, Benedetti soldiers, heading straight for my vehicle. The driver saw them, reached for his weapon. Too slow. They opened fire. The driver slumped. Dead. I dove into the footwell as bullets shredded the windshield. Glass rained down. My ears rang. The shooting stopped. Doors wrenched open. Hands grabbed me, dragged me out. Got her! One shouted. I twisted, drove my elbow into his gut, exactly like Marco taught me. He grunted, grip loosening. I pulled my gun, fired twice. He went down. The second man lunged, knocked the gun from my hand. We hit the ground, him on top, hands around my throat. I couldn't breathe. Vision darkening. Then his weight lifted. Lazaro hauled him off, threw him against the SUV with bone-crushing force. Touch her again and I'll skin you alive, Lazaro snarled. He drew his gun, shot the man in the head. No hesitation. The third tried to run. Marco appeared from nowhere, tackled him. 1 punch, 2. The man stopped moving. Lazaro turned to me, hands on my face, my shoulders, checking for injury. Are you hurt? Ginevra, look at me. Are you hurt? I'm fine, I managed. My throat ached where the man had grabbed me, but nothing serious. Fine? You were almost... His voice cracked. You could have died. But I didn't. I fought, like you taught me. He pulled me against him, shaking. This is why I didn't want you here. I know, but I'm here, and I'm alive. He held me tighter. If I'd lost you, you didn't. Around us, his men secured the scene. Bodies removed, product loaded, efficient cleanup. But Lazaro just held me, like I was the only thing keeping him tethered to earth. Back at the villa, he didn't speak. Just led me to our room, checked me over again. The bruises on my throat made his hands shake. I should never have let you come, he said quietly. You couldn't have stopped me. I could have. I should have. He traced the bruises. This is my fault. No, this is the Benedettis' fault, and we made them pay. Not enough. His eyes went cold. Not nearly enough. Over the next 3 days, the Benedettis learned what happened when you touched Lazzaro Marchetti's woman. Their warehouses burned. Their men disappeared. Their accounts were frozen. Systematic destruction. The eldest brother came to the villa personally, knelt in Lazzaro's study, begged forgiveness. I watched from the doorway as Lazzaro circled him, predator considering prey. You sent men after her, Lazzaro said softly, knowing she was mine, knowing what that meant. It was a mistake. Yes, your last one. Lazzaro nodded to Marco. The shot echoed. The brother fell. Lazzaro stepped over the body, walked to me, cupped my face. This is my world, he said. Blood and violence. If you stay, this is what you'll see, what you'll be part of. I know. And you still want this? I want you. The violence comes with it. He kissed me, desperate, claiming. Then you'll have all of me, every dark part. Good, I whispered against his lips, because I've got my own darkness now. And I did. The man I'd killed defending myself, I felt nothing, no guilt, no remorse, just cold satisfaction that I'd survived. Maybe I'd always had that darkness. Maybe Lazaro just gave me permission to embrace it. Either way, we were matched. Two broken pieces that somehow fit. Lucia's transplant went perfectly. I donated bone marrow in a procedure that left me weak for days, but worth every moment of pain. She was recovering beautifully. Color returning, strength building. The doctors were optimistic. "You saved my life," she said, holding my hand. "Your family. That's what family does. Not our father. He doesn't count anymore." She smiled. "I'm glad you have Lazaro. He's scary, but he loves you. I can tell." "How?" "The way he looks at you. Like you're the only person who matters. That's real love." From the mouths of 16-year-olds. But she was right. Lazaro loved me with terrifying intensity, and I loved him back the same way. Life settled into a new rhythm. I wasn't just his woman anymore. I was his partner, his equal. Men who came to the villa addressed me with the same respect they showed him. I learned the business inside out, territory management, money flows, the delicate balance of violence and diplomacy. And I was good at it. Discovering talents I never knew I had. Strategic thinking, reading people, knowing when to push and when to wait. "You're a natural," Marco said one afternoon. "If you weren't with Lazaro, you could run your own operation." "Good thing I'm with him then." "Yeah. He'd burn the world down if you left." That night, Lazaro and I attended a charity gala. Legitimate business mixing with the underground. Politicians rubbing shoulders with mafia dons. Everyone pretending not to know who was who. I wore red, a dress that clung and revealed in equal measure. Lazaro's hand possessive on my waist as we entered. Every eye tracked us. The king of Rome and his queen. That's what they called me now. Whispered when they thought I couldn't hear. We worked the room, shaking hands, making connections. I charmed politicians while Lazaro conducted business in quiet corners. Then I saw her, across the room. A woman watching Lazaro with an expression I recognized, longing mixed with bitterness. I approached. "You know him." She turned. Beautiful. Mid-30s. Elegant. "I did, once." "And you want him back." A sad smile. "Wanting and having are different things. He made his choice. You." "Who are you?" "Valentina. We were involved years ago, before you." Jealousy flared, hot and irrational. "What happened?" "He ended it. Said he was waiting for someone. I thought he was lying, making excuses." She looked at me. "But he meant you. He was waiting for you." "For 15 years. Longer than that, probably. Lazaro doesn't love easily. But when he does, it's absolute." She touched my arm gently. "Treasure it. Men like him love once, completely, forever." She walked away, leaving me unsettled. Lazaro appeared at my shoulder. "Who was that?" "Valentina. She told me about your past." His jaw tightened. "That was over long before you." "I know. She made that clear." I turned to face him. "How many others?" "Does it matter?" "Yes." He sighed. 5. Over 15 years. None serious. None meant anything. "Because you were waiting for me." "Yes." He cupped my face. "I've only ever loved one woman, and she's standing in front of me." The jealousy eased. "Good, because I'm the jealous type." He smiled, dark, pleased. "I know, I like it." "You like that I'm possessive?" "I like that you claim me as much as I claim you." He kissed me softly. "You're mine, Ginevra, but I'm equally yours. Never doubt that." We left the gala early. In the SUV, Lazaro was quiet, tense. "What's wrong?" I asked. "I received word tonight. Your father is dead." The news hit like a punch. "What?" "Heart attack, 2 days ago. They only just confirmed identity." I should have felt something. Grief, loss, but there was nothing, just cold emptiness. How do you feel? Lazaro asked carefully. Nothing. I feel nothing. I looked at him. Is that wrong? No, he abandoned you, sold you. You owe him no grief. But he was my father. Biology doesn't equal love. He stopped being your father when he traded you for his debts. Truth. Harsh, but true. There will be a funeral, Lazaro continued. Small. We can attend if you want, or not. I want to go, for closure. He nodded. Then we'll go. The funeral was pathetic. 6 people, a cheap casket, rushed service. I stood beside the grave, staring at the box containing the man who gave me life, then abandoned it. Lazaro held my hand. Silent support. When it ended, an older man approached. Ginevra? I didn't recognize him. I'm your father's lawyer. There's a will. He left you something. We went to his office. The will was simple. Everything to me, which amounted to debts in one item. A safety deposit box, the lawyer said, handing me a key. He specified you should open it, said it would explain everything. The bank. The safety deposit box. Lazaro beside me as I turned the key. Inside, a letter. And photographs. Lots of them. I unfolded the letter. My father's handwriting. Shaky. Desperate. Ginevra, if you're reading this, I'm dead. Good. I deserve it for what I did. Everything was my fault. Your mother's death wasn't an accident. I caused it. I was gambling again. Owed money to the Costas. They threatened her. I thought they were bluffing. They weren't. I've lived with that guilt every day. Drank to forget. Gambled to feel something. Failed you in every way possible. Trading you to Marchetti was my final sin, but maybe my only good deed. He'll protect you better than I ever could. The photographs, they're your mother. Her life before me, before you. She was someone important, someone powerful. I never told you because I was ashamed. I'm sorry for everything. You deserved better than me. Giovanni, I set down the letter, picked up the photographs. My mother, young, beautiful. Standing beside men I recognized from Lazaro's history, mafia dons, powerful figures. In some photos, she wore expensive clothes, jewels, looked like royalty. One photo stopped me cold. My mother standing beside a younger Salvatore Marchetti, Lazaro's great-grandfather, his hand on her shoulder, possessive, familiar. I showed it to Lazaro. He stared. This can't be... What? Turn it over. I did. Written on the back, Salvatore and Elena, 1962. Elena, my grandmother's name. Your grandmother, Lazaro said slowly, was involved with my great-grandfather before she betrayed him. This photo, they look like more than business partners. Because they were. Lazaro's face went pale. Ginevra, if they were together... Understanding crashed down. Then my mother might have been Salvatore's daughter. Which meant my mother was Lazaro's great-aunt. Which meant we were distantly related, Lazaro finished. Very distantly. 4th cousins, maybe. Through blood that's been diluted over generations. I sat down hard. This is insane. This is our world. Families intertwine. Blood mixes. He knelt before me. Does it change anything? I don't know. Should it? Not for me. You're still the woman I love, the woman I've waited for. Relation by blood doesn't change that. But we're family. Barely. The connection is so far back, it's irrelevant. He took my hands. If you want to walk away because of this, I'll understand. But know that it changes nothing for me. I looked at this man, my lover, my partner, possibly my very distant cousin, and realized I didn't care. It doesn't change anything, I said. We're still us. Relief flooded his face. You're sure? Yes, because whatever we are, cousins, strangers, destined, we chose each other. That matters more than blood. He kissed me. Deep, grateful. I love you. I love you too. Even if we're weird family. He laughed. Every mafia family is weird family. Fair point. That night, lying in bed, I thought about my mother, the woman in those photographs. Powerful, connected, beautiful. She'd lived a life I never knew about, hidden it from me, protected me from it. She was mafia, I said into the dark. Yes, Lazaro confirmed. Probably more than just connected. Those photos suggest she was a player. And she walked away. For me. For you. To give you a normal life. It didn't work. No, because blood calls to blood. You were always meant for this world. Maybe he was right. Maybe I'd been running toward this all along without knowing it. I'm like her, I said. Aren't I? Strong, strategic, willing to do what's necessary. Yes, you're Alessandra's daughter, and she would be proud of who you've become. I turned to face him in the darkness. Do you think she knew that you'd end up with me? I think she hoped. When she saved my life, she made me promise to protect her daughter if anything happened to her. Maybe she knew even then that we'd fall in love, that we were inevitable. Inevitable. The words settled over us, true and terrifying. What happens now? I asked. Now we live, build, rule this city together. He pulled me close. Now we show everyone what happens when two bloodlines merge, when love and power combine. We become unstoppable. We become legendary. 6 months later, Lucia was cancer-free, released from the hospital with a clean bill of health. She moved into the villa, taking a room near mine, becoming the sister I'd always wanted. She adapted quickly, learned the house rules, made friends with Rosa, even charmed Marco into teaching her self-defense. Just in case, she said. I'm family now. I should know how to protect myself. She was right. Being connected to Lazzaro Marchetti came with risks. She needed to be ready. Life was good. Better than I'd imagined possible in that warehouse 6 months ago. But peace never lasts in our world. The threat came from an unexpected direction. A family from Naples, the Salvatores, ancient bloodline, connected to politicians and international networks. They wanted Rome's ports, wanted the power Lazzaro held, and they were willing to wage war for it. It started with small moves, shipments intercepted, men going missing, territory disputes escalating into violence. Lazzaro called a meeting, his entire inner circle, me included now, always. The Salvatores are pushing, he said, maps spread across the table. They've hit 3 of our operations this week, killed 5 men. This is war. How do we respond? Marco asked. We hit back, harder, show them Rome isn't for sale. They have backing, one lieutenant said. Politicians, international connections. This won't be quick. I don't care how long it takes. Lazzaro's voice was ice. They've challenged my authority. They die. All of them. Plans were made. Strategies discussed. I listened, absorbing, then spoke. We're thinking about this wrong. Everyone looked at me. We're treating this like a territory dispute, but it's personal. They're not just hitting your operations, they're targeting you specifically, trying to prove you're weak. How does that change our approach? Lazzaro asked. We make it personal back. Find what matters to them, hit that, make them bleed where it hurts most. Silence. Then Marco smiled. She's right. War isn't just territory. It's hearts and minds. Lazzaro studied me, pride in his eyes. What do you suggest? Their patriarch, Giuseppe Salvatore. He has a son, only heir. If something happened to him, they'd have no succession, no future. Marco finished. Exactly. We don't need to kill everyone, just the one that matters most. Dark strategy. Ruthless, but effective. Lazzaro nodded slowly. Find the son. Locate him, quietly. The son was named Antonio, 25, cocky, overconfident, liked to frequent clubs in Rome despite the war his family started. Stupid, but useful for us. I'll go, I said. Lazzaro looked at me sharply. No. Think about it. A woman approaches him at a club, flirts, gets him alone, your men grab him. Easy. And if something goes wrong, then I handle it. You've trained me for this. Ginevra, I'm your partner. Let me do this. The room watched our standoff. Finally, Lazzaro nodded. Fine, but Marco goes with you, and I'll be listening the entire time. Deal. The club pulsed with music and bodies. I wore a black dress that showed everything Lazzaro hated other men seeing. But it was armor tonight. Bait. Marco hung back, watching. Lazzaro in my ear through a hidden comm. Antonio Salvatore sat in VIP, surrounded by friends, drinking expensive liquor, laughing. I approached the bouncer, smiled, slipped him money. He let me through. I walked straight to Antonio's table. Every eye tracked me. Mind if I join you? I asked, voice light and flirty. Antonio looked up, smiled. For you? Absolutely. I slid into the booth beside him, let him order me drinks, laughed at his jokes, played the part of interested stranger. In my ear, Lazzaro's voice was strained. This is taking too long. Patience, I murmured, disguising it as a laugh. Antonio leaned close. What was that? I said you're dangerous. I like dangerous men. Oh yeah? His hand landed on my thigh. How dangerous do you like them? Let's find out. Somewhere private. His eyes lit up. I know a place. My car's out back. Perfect. We stood. He led me through the crowd, hand possessive on my lower back, through the back exit into the alley. His car waited. Black. Expensive. Get in, he said. The moment he turned his back, Marco appeared, grabbed him, drugged cloth over his mouth. Antonio struggled for 3 seconds, then went limp. 2 more of Lazzaro's men materialized, loaded Antonio into a different vehicle, drove off. Marco grabbed my arm. Let's move. We were back in our SUV within 30 seconds, pulling away as club security finally noticed something was wrong. Done, I said into the comm. On my way to you now, Lazzaro replied. Well done. We met at a secondary location, an abandoned factory on the outskirts. Antonio was tied to a chair when we arrived, awake now, terrified. Lazzaro stood before him. I watched from the shadows. Antonio Salvatore, Lazzaro said calmly. Do you know who I am? Marchetti. The kid's voice shook. Good. Then you know why you're here. My father will kill you. Your father will do nothing because he's about to learn what happens when you challenge me. Lazzaro pulled out his phone, dialed, put it on speaker. It rang twice. Pronto? Giuseppe, Lazzaro said. I have your son. Silence. Then, if you hurt him, you'll what? Start a war? You already did that. Lazzaro's voice stayed calm, controlled. But I'm a reasonable man, so here's my offer. Withdraw from Rome, completely. All operations, all men, and I'll return your son alive. That's our territory. Was. Now it's mine. You have 24 hours to decide. He hung up. Looked at Antonio. Your father loves you. He'll make the right choice. We left, guards staying behind to watch Antonio. In the SUV, Lazzaro pulled me close. You were perfect. I was terrified. You didn't show it. That's what matters. He kissed my temple. You're becoming everything I knew you could be." 23 hours later, Giuseppe Salvatore called back. "I agree to your terms. Return my son." "Smart choice. He'll be released at the northern checkpoint in 1 hour." Antonio was returned, alive, unharmed except for his pride. The Salvatores withdrew completely. Within a week, Rome was entirely under Lazzaro's control again. We'd won. Without massive bloodshed. Without losing men. Strategic. Clean. Effective. "You did this," Lazzaro said that night. "Your plan. Your execution. We did this. Together." "Yes." He pulled me into his arms. Together. Always. 1 month later, Lazzaro called a meeting. Every major family in central Italy. A show of power. We entered the room together. 40 men, all watching. Lazzaro stood at the head of the table. I stood beside him, equal. "Gentlemen," he began, "some of you know Ginevra, others have only heard. Let me make this clear. She is not my weakness. She is my strength, my partner in all things. Decisions I make, she makes with me. Respect you show me, you show her. Is this understood?" Nods around the table, some enthusiastic, others reluctant, but all compliant. "Good. Now let's talk about the future of our territories." The meeting proceeded. I contributed openly, offered strategies, mediated disputes. By the end, every man in that room understood. Ginevra Moretti wasn't just Lazzaro's woman. I was a power in my own right. That night, alone in our bedroom, Lazzaro pulled out a box, black velvet. "What's this?" I asked. "Open it." Inside, a ring. Not engagement. We were beyond traditional labels, but a symbol. Platinum band with a single blood-red ruby. "It was my grandmother's," he said. "She wanted you to have it. Lazzaro, wear it. Show the world you're mine, and I'm yours." He slid it onto my finger. Perfect fit. "We're bound now," he murmured, "in every way that matters. Blood, power, love. Forever," I agreed. "Forever." He kissed me, deep, claiming, full of promises we'd both keep. 3 months later, I discovered I was pregnant. The news hit like lightning. Terrifying and exhilarating in equal measure. I told Lazzaro in his study. Just the two of us. No ceremony. "I'm pregnant." He froze, stared. "You're sure?" "Positive. Multiple tests. Doctor confirmed it." Silence. Then he crossed to me, dropped to his knees, pressed his forehead against my stomach. "A child," he whispered. "Our child. Are you happy?" He looked up, eyes wet. Terrified, ecstatic, completely unprepared. A laugh. "But yes. So incredibly happy." He stood, pulled me into his arms, held me like I was the most precious thing in existence. "Everything changes now," he said. "I know. I'll need to secure everything, make sure you're both safe. Our child will be a target. We'll handle it. Together." "Together," he agreed. The pregnancy progressed. I grew, slowed down but refused to stop working. Lazzaro was overprotective to the point of madness, but I loved him for it. Lucia was ecstatic. "I'm going to be an aunt. This is the best thing ever." Even Nonna visited more frequently, knitting tiny clothes, planning, delighted by the prospect of a great-great-grandchild. 7 months in, a threat emerged. One final challenge from a rival who thought Lazzaro's attention would be divided. The Torrentes, smaller family, desperate, stupid. They hit one of our shipments, killed 2 men, left a message. "The king is distracted. The throne is open." Lazzaro's response was biblical. Within 72 hours, the Torrente family ceased to exist. Every member, every asset, erased. Rome learned its final lesson. You don't threaten Lazzaro Marchetti's family. I went into labor on a Tuesday. At home, Lazzaro refused to let me go to a hospital. Too exposed. Instead, he brought the hospital to us. Doctors, nurses, equipment, everything. The labor was long, painful, terrifying. But Lazaro never left my side, held my hand, breathed with me, anchored me through every contraction, and finally a cry. "It's a girl," the doctor announced. "A daughter. Perfect. Tiny. Beautiful." They placed her on my chest. She had my eyes, Lazaro's dark hair. "She's perfect," I whispered. Lazaro leaned down, kissed my forehead, then our daughter's. "What do we name her?" he asked. "Alessandra, after my mother." "Alessandra Marchetti." He smiled. "Perfect." 6 months later, life had settled into a new normal. Alessandra thriving, Lucia doting, Lazaro somehow even more protective than before. We'd survived everything: war, betrayal, violence, blood, and come out stronger. One evening, standing on our balcony overlooking Rome, Lazaro pulled me close. "Do you regret it?" he asked. "That night in the warehouse. Everything that came after." "Do you?" I countered. "Never. Not for a second." "Then neither do I. Even though I'm obsessed with you, even though I've shaped your life, even though, because you love me completely, absolutely, and I love you the same way. Dark love, the darkest, but it's ours." He kissed me as the sun set over Rome, our city, our empire, our world. "What happens now?" I asked. "Now we raise our daughter, build our legacy, rule this city together." He smiled. "Now we live, Ginevra, dangerous, powerful, unstoppable. Together, always together." And in the distance, Rome glittered like a promise, a city built on blood and power, now ours to protect. I'd been handed to a mafia boss as punishment, but I found my destiny instead. Love, power, family, everything I never knew I wanted, everything I'd die to protect, because this was my world now, our world, and I wouldn't change a single dark, beautiful moment of it. That's the end of their story. From warehouse captive to mafia queen, from fear to power, from punishment to paradise, albeit a dark one. Ginevra and Lazaro proved that some loves are born from darkness, some bonds are forged in blood, and sometimes the most dangerous men make the most devoted lovers. Their empire stands, their family thrives, and Rome trembles at the power they wield together.
Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your support helps me bring you even more emotional, heartwarming stories filled with love, tension, and unforgettable moments. Stay tuned. More beautiful stories are on the way.